Welcome to Faith Stories with Dawn DeMarco-Book. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they will see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven. Matthew 5:6.
Hello and welcome to Faith Stories. I'm Dawn DeMarco-Book. What is Faith Stories? Faith Stories are Christians from all walks of life who share their stories of faith, hope, and love. And my prayer is that you would come to know your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. How do you do that? Through the Bible. So if you need a Bible, please email me at FaithStorieswDawnDeMarco@gmail.com. Okay, you guys, every week I'm talking about Stacey Herring's book. It's on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. She lost her life back in September, and her family, her husband and two teenage girls, could use your help. So just purchase this book. It's a page turner. You won't be disappointed. And I know they'll be so appreciative of that. So, okay, we're going to take a quick break, but before we go to break, I can't wait for you guys to meet who I have. I have been wanting him on. Oh my gosh, it's been 2 years exactly, Brock. And finally, he's here. So come back and you're going to absolutely love his story. It's so powerful. We'll take a quick break.
Broughton Garage Door Sales now offers you a difference with the LiftMaster Secure View Ultra Quiet Smart Opener with camera, LED 360-degree lighting, and battery backup. Built-in camera adds video and two-way audio communication to the MyQ app. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage anytime, anywhere from your smartphone. Schedule today at Broughton.com.
Just simply call Broughton. We open doors for you.
Tavilla Properties, located at 11471 West Sample Road, Suite 17, located in Coral Springs, Florida, for all your commercial needs. Call Jan at 954-341-1632. That's 954-341-1632, or visit www.tavillaproperties.com. Welcome back to Faith Stories. If you have any prayer requests, please email me at faithstorieswithdawn@gmail.com. That's faithstorieswithdawn@gmail.com.
And welcome back. Okay, you guys, I met this gentleman, Chip Moore, about 2 years ago. I heard his story and my mouth was on the table just because it's such a powerful witness to who God is and how much God loves us and won't let go of us. And he is such an amazing man. Him and I immediately connected. I just was like, forget it. It's like, I feel like I've known him forever. And so, welcome my guest, Chip.
Thank you for having me
Oh
here.
my God, I'm so, okay. So
It's
he
actually
was supposed
happening.
I know. He was supposed to come on twice before and got sick, very sick, both times, once in the hospital. And then Tina said, you better call her because you're not getting any better.
I was seriously going to try it, but the doctors would not let me leave.
No, and he drove all the way down from Orlando, and I'm so blessed that he's here. And Tina, you're coming with him next time, and we'll meet at P.F. Chang's. So there you go.
There you go.
So Chip, I want you to share what you share. I know you can't share everything, but just kind of like really talk to us about, how you were in Georgia and how God brought you to Florida, but there's so much in between.
So my wife, we had faith. We've been married going on 28 years this year.
Congratulations.
And thank you very much. I was saved at 19 and found Jesus, or Jesus found me.
Yeah. He finds us, doesn't he?
He absolutely did.
It's like, hello!
And then, life was good.
Yeah.
My wife was a corporate type. I was a police officer in one of a very large county in Metro Atlanta. Ended up becoming a division commander. Life was good. We had 2 kids. We had kids in private schools. And then one day I got home from work, and my wife, I had just laid down in the bed, and she got up and she started screaming. It's almost like she was in a panic, and she was going all over the bedroom. I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
And when I was finally able to get my hands on her and calm her down a little bit, I could see that she couldn't see at all. and she had lost her eyesight, and it was an immediate thing. It was almost overnight, and it was so scary because we started going to the doctors, and the doctors couldn't explain
They couldn't figure
or
it out.
tell us why or what was going on. The good news is she's regained her eyesight, but for about 2 to 3 years it was touch and go.
Right.
It was at least 6 months before we knew what was going on. We found out what the issue was, but she got very depressed.
I bet.
We had to, and then her income that we had,
Right.
which was substantial, we obviously lost that overnight.
Which is
and-
crazy when you think about it, you guys, because literally you're at the knees of Jesus at this point.
And
right?
that was the only thing that we could cling to. And it was really difficult for me because only children, we didn't have any family to rely on. So it was just me looking at my wife, looking at my 2 kids. They were 9 and 11.
Right. So what do you do?
And
Okay,
what do we
kids,
do?
let's rally. You know?
Exactly. And I tried my best to keep it normal for the
Right,
kids.
right.
But I retired from the police department, took
Mm-hmm.
an early retirement just to be able to take care of her because we were going to the doctor 2 to 3 times a week,
God.
7 days a week, because they were still trying to figure out what was going on. Once they figured it out, I just decided that I needed to take care of her.
yeah.
It turned into where we pulled our kids out of private schools. We were homeschooling them. I was working with them during the day. At night, I would go drive rideshare
Okay.
in the middle of the night, and I'd have her mom come over. And I was
To
driving
be with her,
rideshare.
because was she able to see at this time, or did it
Was
go
still
in and
coming
out?
back around.
Okay,
So
all right.
very long story. One of
Yeah.
her eyes fixed. She, her left eye was fixed. She could move her right eye, but she could only see out of one. It was.
Oh my
It was a lot. It was a lot. But I was driving rideshare at night just to be able to provide for my family the next day, because we had been, I don't want to say irresponsible, we hadn't saved anything up.
Right.
And we just found
you don't-
ourselves without income. We didn't expect it.
Right, you don't
out of
expect
nowhere.
that. That's the thing. It's like Dave Ramsey's 6 months of your income saved. That you should always have that as an
Exactly.
emergency fund, because you don't know what's coming.
Exactly.
You know. And so anyways, so now you've lost 2 incomes,
Mm-hmm.
and you were both making really good money.
We were making substantial money, and we found our house went into foreclosure.
Mm-hmm.
Both of our cars were repossessed. And I was driving in the middle of the night literally just enough to buy groceries. I would sleep in my car in downtown Atlanta with the phone on waiting for a ride. And I would make enough money just to be able to buy Tina and the kids food for the next day. I'd buy it on the way home. I would take care of her, homeschool the kids. And that rocked on for a little while until it just got to the point of I didn't know what I was going to do. House was in foreclosure, bills were piling up. But the only place that I could go, the one place that I could always go, was to the church.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would have my mother, my wife would sit with my mother-in-law.
Right.
I would go to the church and I would just tell the pastor, it doesn't matter what you have me do, just put me to work. Just
Right. Did they know
do
what was
something.
going on?
No,
You
I
hadn't
didn't.
shared that yet.
Had not shared anything
your
with
pride.
anybody.
That's called pride, people, because you don't need to. You should have verbalized that, because they would have stepped in.
Well, and one
no?
thing about it is it's proven to me is you don't know what's really going on in other people's lives.
Exactly.
And when somebody's maybe having a bad day or an off day, you really may
don't
not
know.
know what's going on, because we lived in the big house. We had the big house.
Right.
Everybody knew, but nobody had any idea of the struggles that we were actually enduring,
Well, how would they know?
because I didn't tell them.
There you go.
But I was at church one day, and I was working there at the church. I was painting a wall because it was just something to do, and I passed out. I fainted.
Oh, you're kidding.
And the reason that I passed out was because I had not eaten in 2 days. Because I had to make sure that my family ate. I wasn't worried about me. I
Right.
had to make sure my family ate.
Yeah.
And when I woke up, I probably wasn't out for very long, but when I woke up, one of my really good friends was standing there, and everything just started coming out about everything that we've been going through and dealing with.
Literally, God brought
And
you there.
he put me at the right place at the right time, because then the conversation turned into how we're going to fix this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this very good friend, he said, you need to start selling real estate. So I started selling real estate. Found out I was really, really good at it, shockingly enough.
Thank God. I believe that because you're a
yeah.
personable person.
It was out of nowhere, and I could work from the house. It was great. My wife was getting better. You know, we had money coming back in. Ended up doing real estate in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina.
Unbelievable.
Life was great.
Yeah.
You know, and everything was back, and I'm
How
like,
was your
God,
faith,
you're
though?
good. Well, my faith had been strengthened to a degree.
Okay.
You know, we had always been to church. We'd always been the family that every time the doors opened for the church, we were there. And my faith was strengthened because I'd seen what God had done through my wife.
Okay.
And bringing her through all of that, because it got really dark
I'm
for
sure.
a very long time, very, very dark. And life was good. And I'm like, God, you brought us back. I'm thankful for it. And then one day I was sitting on in an intersection. I was hit by a truck, and it pushed me out in front of a tractor trailer.
Yep.
And
this is it, folks. I'm telling you. It's
when I was hit by the tractor trailer, I really remember very little of the accident.
Thank God. I think
But
that's
the
a
one
blessing.
thing that I remember
Yeah.
was I was mad.
Really?
I
In
was
that moment,
I was
you were
mad in that very moment,
Wow.
because I'm like, God, why did you do all of this? Why did you take us through everything that you took us through to let me die right here? Because I thought that was it.
So in that moment, that's interesting that you had that reaction. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like you see your life pass in front of you, but no, you were pissed off at God.
I was mad. But then immediately it was almost like you flip a switch. You turn a light on. I mean, literally it's instantaneous. It was like a light turned on, but I'm still here. So I'm still here for a reason. I know I'm in really bad shape. I don't know what's going on with my body. I don't know what's going on with this wreck, but I know I'm in really bad shape. And the one thing that I started thinking about was it turned from being mad to bartering with God. Because you know we can barter with God, right?
Can we?
And God will like barter with us back and
Right.
forth, because I'm like, God, if you just let me get through this,
Yeah.
I will do whatever you ask me to do.
true.
Just let me survive it.
Yeah, atheists even do that, right?
Oh,
When they're on the verge
and
of like,
I
hello.
certainly did it. A few days later, woke up in the hospital. Was in the hospital for several months. You know, my body is a complete and total train wreck still to this day. But thankfully, I recovered from it. I got better from it. And then, you know, I went back to selling real estate. Life was good again. And then,
Did you remember the promises that you made to God in that moment?
I always had them in the back of my head.
Okay.
You know, because, you know, the thing about, you know, when you tell God something, you better mean it.
Absolutely.
Because one day you're going to be faced with that decision of, well,
Right.
this is what you told me.
Right.
Did you really
Exactly.
mean it?
Yeah. Yeah, and he will make you accountable.
And 100%. And,
Yes.
and that rolled around one day, because I woke up, my wife and I, we had been talking about moving. You know, her mother had passed away, and, you know, what are we going to do now? Because that was the last bit of our family.
Right.
Where are we going to go? And I woke up one night, and I just was like, God was speaking clearly of it's time to move to Florida. And I'm like, I don't know if I really want to move to Florida. Why would I want to
what's in
move
Florida?
to? I mean, yeah, it's great. Disney World's down there,
Right.
but that's, you know, do we really want to move to Florida? And it was so crystal clear that this was what we were supposed to do.
And what was that? What the crystal clear? What were the signs that God showed you that it was time to?
Well, when I woke up, my wife never sleeps. I don't know how she survives to this day. You know, she never sleeps at all. I know she has to sometimes, but I went to go tell her, and I got up and started walking down the hall, and got about halfway down the hall, and she stopped me. And she was like, you're about to say something that's going to really radically change our lives, right? She says, God's been getting me ready, but I don't know what you're about to tell me, but God's been getting me ready. And I said, well, God says we're supposed to move to Florida, that there's something waiting for us in Florida. I don't know what, but something is waiting for us in Florida. And I want you to know, my wife immediately got up. We started taking pictures. We started, you know, we had a few things done to the house. We listed the house. Within 2 weeks, the house was sold.
Oh my God.
Cash sale. We got in the car, started driving to Florida.
So you had no idea where you were supposed to go?
Nope.
But you
We just got in the car,
and
started
drove.
driving. And halfway to
That's
Florida.
Bold. That's bold
Look.
and trusting at the same, you know?
My wife called me halfway down to Florida because I was in my car. My son was driving my wife in her car. And my wife called and she was like, we forgot something.
Your daughter.
And I'm like, well, We have both kids.
Okay, good.
We have the dog. We have the cat. The house was empty when we left because everything went into storage. I don't really know what it is that we could have forgotten. And she was like, where are we going? Where are we going to go? That's the one thing that we forgot.
That is funny.
I mean, we were pointed south.
Crazy.
We were on 75.
Oh my gosh.
But we didn't know where we were going to go. So there's a hotel, big resort area in Orlando, and they have little houses behind the resort. They're called casas, I think.
Okay.
And I will tell you, it's 978 square feet. And the reason
that's
that
not
I
big.
know that is because for 9 weeks, me and my wife, my 2 teenagers, and my dog and my cat lived in 978 square feet of that little casa while we found a house.
Oh my gosh.
And then we found a house eventually and moved into the rental. And then the day after, someone approached me and said, hey, there's somebody looking for somebody to run an organization in Central Florida that takes care of pastors and churches. And it was at that moment I immediately knew that now, out of all of this,
That's what it was
that's
for.
why.
And so, so as you were driving down, were you still selling houses at the time?
Still was. And I continued to do that until I found out about this group that I work for now, how important it was and how much of a ministry it was to pastors and Christians to get civically engaged. And that's what I told my wife. I'm like, God's really taken care of us over the last few years. I think we need to take one more leap of faith and sell the real estate company.
Wow.
And March.
And she was all on board with this.
Yeah, we moved down and I started with the organization in January. March, we sold the real estate company.
Unbelievable.
And we could talk for hours about things that have happened. But the one thing that I will say is I was on a trip with this organization. We were doing a tour, and I was sitting at this little church in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I was staring out a door, and I was the only one that was sitting in a chair where I could see out the door. And there was this pouring down rain, and there was this teenage girl that walked by the door. She looked like she was crying, and I told people around me, I'm like, we need to go see what's going on.
What's going on with her? Yeah.
So we went out there to talk to that girl to find out what was going on.
Yeah.
And come to find out she had been molested by her father.
Oh, geez.
She had been, and she was 18 years. She had just turned 18 years old. She finally confronted her father. She lived in Mississippi, and we're in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Okay.
They kicked her out of the car. They took her wallet. They took her phone. She didn't know where she was. They said they never wanted to see her again because the mother, it got really bad.
Unfortunately, that happens a lot.
But I was the one that saw her. And then the good news of that is there was a family at the church that took her in. She has now got her GED. She found Jesus, number one.
God.
And so here's the way that I look at my life. Here's the way that I look at everything that I've ever been through and my wife and my family have ever been through. Yeah. If everything that has happened in my life, because there's a lot more that I haven't filled in the gap.
I know. It was
that
was a really quick overview there, too.
But if you look back at everything that's happened in my life, if it led up to that one moment,
right.
If that's why I had to endure all the hospitals, if that's why I had to endure, looking at my wife and hiding all the guns in the house because she wanted to, kill, she said that she was a burden and that the kids didn't need it.
Yeah.
If my kids having to go without Christmas presents for years and years and years, if all of that was for that one moment
to save that young
it was
girl.
all worth it.
Isn't that amazing? Because you really appreciate what you have, because it's not the material things, it's not the big house, it's not the nice cars. Those are just material things. It's you. You are important to your family. You're important to me. You're important to your children. Your wife is, oh my God, that she was in such a dark place. I've been in that place before. And you think, oh, I could just do this and no one would know. They would just look at it as, oh, it was an accident. No, because that's the thing. We all have value, and God has us here for a purpose.
Oh, amen to that. And I used to question it. I used to, you want to go with victim mentality sometimes. I would go outside where it was just me, and I'm like, God, why me?
Right.
And then God would, every single time, every trial and tribulation I've ever been through, and I know it's cliche that a lot of people have heard this, but when I would say, why me, all the answer I got back was, why not you?
Why not you, right?
Why not you?
Yeah, because you know what, Chip, that's the thing. It's like, everything that you've walked through, because of who you are and what God did with you, with that young girl, and there's so many more people that you have affected that you don't even know about, right?
Confident of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what he does with us as Christians. That's what he does. He takes our lives and he, you know, I mean, he gave me a big mouth for him, right? I didn't used to have a big mouth for him. I used to sit with my girlfriends at a public restaurant and we would pray. We would just pray, go around the circle and pray. And I would squeeze the person's hands next to mine and would not say. Now I pray with people in the bathroom. I don't care where I am. I will pray for anybody because that's what we need. We need a relationship with Jesus Christ and we need to pray with each other. And
we absolutely need to let other people know. You know, there's a lot of controversy in this world. You know, the organization I work for, we deal with some of the controversy.
Oh, I know you do, yeah.
And the reason that there's controversy out there is because I firmly believe that there are a lot of people fighting what they know is the truth. Right. And it's my job to, you know, and there's another thing that I pray constantly, and I have a lot of people that tell me I'm crazy. I'm praying for the next tribute. I'm praying for the next trial.
Right.
You know, there's a song out there called Bring the Rain. You know, and every time I go through something and something else happens, okay, God, you took us through that, you brought us through that, and look at how we are right now. I'm ready for the next one.
Well, see, and that's the thing. When you walk through those trials, it brings you closer to Him. Not when you're on the mountaintop and things are going great, and yeah, I've got a nice car, and I've got a nice house, and I got money in the bank, or whatever. It's during those trials that, oh my God, we cling to Jesus, right? And we lean in on Him, and our faith grows. Your faith doesn't grow on the mountaintop.
Oh, absolutely. But I think that the Christians, and I know that I'm just as guilty as this, when you're on that mountaintop, you forget about the valleys. I intentionally pray for the valleys. I want the next trial. Yeah. Do I look forward to it when it hits? No.
Oh gosh, no.
But I know on the other side of it, there's something that's even more exciting than I've ever seen before that's waiting for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Jesus, bring the rain.
Yeah. Well, let's get you home safe.
Amen to that. I don't really want it to happen before I get back to Orlando.
I know. You just totaled your car.
I just totaled my car back in November, and
and it wasn't even his fault. The deer ran out in front of him.
Yeah.
And then a truck hit you.
On the interstate.
What's this with you and trucks?
I don't know. My wife was like, I'm not sure I want to ride with you anymore. But now, she still does.
Is she able to drive?
Oh yeah, she's back.
Okay, right.
It's and just to give like 2 seconds of what was wrong, it's Bell's palsy. If you've ever heard of that, it's a version of Bell's palsy that affects your eyes.
Unbelievable.
But it could come back at any time. So we're really cautious and we watch, and we live in a really peaceful house because stress could be the one to kick it off. And
so it's stress that kicks it off.
It could be. There's still no reason as to why doctors know why that happens. It's called sixth nerve palsy. There's just no answer. They haven't figured it out.
Wow.
So
that's crazy. Wow.
But we're good. God's good.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
God is always good, isn't He?
Amen to that.
Yeah. All right, you guys, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Broughton Garage Door Sales now offers you a difference with the LiftMaster Secure View Ultra Quiet Smart Opener with camera, LED 360-degree lighting, and battery backup. Built-in camera adds video and two-way audio communication to the MyQ app. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage anytime, anywhere from your smartphone. Schedule today at broughton.com.
Just simply call Broughton. We open doors for you.
Tavilla Properties, located at 11471 West Sample Road, Suite 17, located in Coral Springs, Florida, for all your commercial needs. Call Jan at 954-341-1632. That's 954-341-1632, or visit www.tavilla.properties.com. Welcome back to Faith Stories. If you have any prayer requests, please email me at faithstorieswithdawn@gmail.com. That's faithstorieswithdawn@gmail.com.
And I appreciate you very much. Hello, we're back. We're busy talking, yakking away. Welcome back. Oh, here I go again. Jalen just told me, don't do that to your chest, and I did it again. Jalen, I'm sorry. I have a bad habit of that, you know? Chip?
Exactly.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
It happens.
So Chip went way too fast. So we're going to go back and just, weren't you in the hospital for a really long time? I think you had shared
It was
that.
about 7 months.
Hello. See, I wanted him, because his story is so intricate. And I said, we have a half hour, about 26 minutes that, and he just went so
I gave
fast.
the lightning version.
Oh my God. It was like, wait, what? Wait.
Lightning version. Well, and yeah, I was in the hospital for that long, and you know, I tell everybody, and I laugh before, because I was like the picture of health, and you're looking at me now, and I'm like, not really. But there's so many metal parts of me, and it was a lot of recovery, a lot of recap. And then when I came home, it was, you know, trying to get back to learning to walk normal and having to deal with all of the injuries that are still. And let me tell you, if you ever end up in the long term in the hospital, let me give you some advice for your family. When the patient asks for them to bring you McDonald's, don't do it.
Yeah, no kidding. That extends your stay.
That extends my stay, and I put on a lot of weight there in the hospital. But it was, yeah, that was a trial in and of itself, because my kids, you know, my son wasn't old enough to drive, and
then it was all on Tina, but Tina was still recovering.
She was still recovering from, well, yeah.
See, you guys, there was so much more you could have shared. It was like, wait,
it's like a lightning round. Sorry, Dawn.
It really was. I didn't want you to go that fast, but that's okay. Oh my God, that's so funny. So during that time, so how did she get to the hospital? Did her mom take her?
Her mom was able to help. Now her dad was also, that's a whole nother issue that we were dealing with at the same time, was her dad was dealing with dementia.
Oh yeah, my mom had dementia.
And you know, right before all of that happened, you know, I would have to take care of my wife also, but then I would go, like, he got to where he would find the car keys. So I would have to go sit in their driveway to make sure that he wouldn't leave. Because he actually left one night and was gone, and we didn't know where he went.
Right.
So
it's those, instead of, you know, the child alert, it's the silver alert,
yeah,
you
exactly.
know? It's like, okay, watch out for the elderly.
So, I mean, there was so many different things that were happening that, you know, having an accident thrown in there was not something that any of us needed.
Yeah.
At all.
Unbelievable. Wow.
But yeah, it was a long road. I still to this day hurt all over. But every time I get a pain, it just reminds me of how good God is.
Right.
Because I'm here to feel the pain.
Right. That's
you know?
True.
And it's just.
Or you'll be in heaven with no pain. But
well,
then your mom,
one of these days.
I know.
I'll lose the metal that's all over my body, and it'll all be gone, and then
I know.
even better.
It's so funny, because people say, oh, it beats the alternative. I said, the alternative is heaven. I mean, my God, hello, I want to go. I mean, I'm going to be there, but, you know, I want to go when God wants me to go. I don't want to go yet, but seriously, I won't have any more pain either. I've cried. Yeah, I'm not going to even say that. I'm not going to put it out there, but it's yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
It's crazy. All right, you guys, so we have, Chip, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And so
2 years in the making, we finally have it happening.
And we're going to have him back with Tina. Tina, you're coming.
Oh,
you're going to be part of the show. We're going to take, in fact, maybe we can get Haley to bring her shoes. Ooh, yeah. We're going to get you in some serious debt. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. No.
Oh my gosh.
So you guys, thank you again.
More than welcome.
Next week, I actually had somebody different. It was a couple. Unfortunately, they're not able to make it, so I invited George and Claudia Rosario. So they're going to be coming next week. I don't know what we're going to be talking about, but I'm sure it's going to be cool and amazing. So listen, share this, share. Check out social media. Please share like crazy so we can get the word out about Faith Stories. You guys have a blessed week. We'll see you next week at 3 o'clock.
Thank you for watching Faith Stories, where you will hear stories of hope, faith, and love. Please join us next week, and remember, God meets you where you are, but doesn't leave you.